Notification volume 0%.
Good afternoon and welcome to Blindformers. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today I have for you Transformers MP-01 Optimus Prime. Now, according to people, I'm having a very hard time keeping this guy in frame. He is just that big. He's just such a weird, large size. And last night I was reading over the comments and I remembered something, and I figured I would do it in the Blindformers episode. So there's a way to during his transformation, there's a way to make him smaller. So we will start with that as part one of the transformation. So first, you want to find the fuel tanks that are just below his knees. You know, the side fuel tanks that semi trucks have, and then you want to grab them and push both of them down. So they're on a spring-loaded hinge. So you want to pick him up just a bit. So hold him at the waist with one hand, and then you want to pull with the push down on the side of the fuel container that is closest to the wheel, and it will push down, and then the entire leg can go up. And we're going to do it with the other side. We'll push it down, and the entire leg goes up. Now, there we go. Now Optimus Prime should be in frame for his head, so I could showcase his head. And look how beautiful the head is now. You know, and there's the little movie part where I talked about the fact that his little voice, you know, his little face shield moves. Yeah, look at that, Optimus. You've been wearing a mask since before people asked to wear masks. That's cool. He was ready for SARS. All right, so to continue, now that he's smaller, we're going to remove his Megatron Gun, and actually I'm going to mention this because I totally forgot to mention this. This is the Megatron Gun that the MP-01 Optimus Prime came with, and this is the same exact gun mold that the Toys R Us exclusive Soundwave came with as well, which when I had that figure, I always thought it was very unique and interesting that they had the same exact Megatron mold. Even though those two figures were released years and years apart from one another, there wasn't much of a difference in the Megatron Gun mode, which was pretty cool in my opinion. So now we're going to move on to his head. So we first, actually, it's not the head that goes first, it's the arms. So we're going to stretch out his arm here. All right, now you got to feel around the arm. Now there is these little slits cut in with a arrow on the front, and I remember that they are colored yellow, but they're actually inset into the forearm. So you want to feel around there, and you can find that there's a little bitty bit. Maybe it's on the other side. Remember it being on one of these sides. Come on. Yeah, that's still right. No. It's not that bit. Sorry. Go all the way around to the other side of the arm. It's this bit. So it's got this really cool texture of some pistons and stuff in it, and it's on the exact opposite side of the arm from that arrow, the yellow arrow thing. Which this then goes up. You use your thumb. The thumb can go into this area right above the knee, the elbow piston, or right below the elbow piston is the slit that the thumbnail can go into. Now, to close up the hand, now you've raised that platform. First, we're going to rotate the thumb of his hand so that it fits flat against his, the back of his hand. I mean, on the underside of his hand, like that area right there. So we're just putting the thumb like that across the lower part of the palm. And then we're going to close the entire fist up to make him a nice, strong fist. Not as strong as a karate fist because the thumb goes over the fingers, but you know what I mean. And now, when you've done that, you can take this thing that you pulled up and you grab it with one hand, grab the other part of the hand, and we're just going to pull it, push it. It doesn't work as well as it used to. Oh, no. One of the hands got stuck. Come on, go back out. There we go. Get in there. Okay, cool. Now, go in. We'll go in like that. Yeah, shit. There it goes. There it goes. All the way in. Now this part folds over and closes, and you get a new texture. It's a very nice little texture. Kind of the inside of a vehicle kind of texture. Okay, we're going to follow the same process with the other arm. Now we're going to move it around. Let's find the arrow, twist it to the exact opposite side of that arrow. Put your thumb in there, pull that bit up. Now, rotate the hand, then close the thumb of the hand over the lower part of the palm of the hand, and then make sure all 4 fingers are closed in a very strong fist. And after you have given him the fisticuffs, we can make sure that's all set up. And then this entire assembly is going to move backwards. There it goes. It's secure. Now that it is, push on it a bit with your fingers, and then this part folds down and closes into place. Now to reverse this action, you now have to put your thumb or fingernail into a slit that is closer to where the hands pop out instead of closer to where the hinges are for the elbow. And that entire assembly has now reversed itself. Okay, hands are put away. Let's rotate so that the elbow pistons are sticking into the back area. Cool. Next step. Next step is we're going to go ahead and rotate his body. His lower waist 180 degrees until it clicks. And that click is still solid. Now that that's done is the fun part. So we're about to break this guy open. So on his back, you've got these 2 little flappies. And if you don't remember to pull these guys out all the way, you're going to break them off. It's okay though. They thought about that and they can be popped back in pretty easily. But my suggestion to you is make sure that that is popped out completely, because we are about to have some fun with this guy. So before you can get the head put away, you first have to make room. So the entire front of the cab can fold up. And yes, this is the start of it. To all of you Transformers fans who have wondered, when did they start putting a false grille on the front of Optimus Prime? This is the guy. This is the guy right here. This false grille was the first false grille, at least that I know of. And it's on its own double hinge, so you want to pull up the lower part of the hinge, and then you want to flatten out that grille. That grille is going to be on the underside of the vehicle, down at the bottom. And that is the first time the grille has ever been used in such a way. Now you have all of this area open. We're going to open his windshields, and then we're going to take and pull out this part with the matrix of leadership. Now this part's a little bit of a hassle. I will be straight up honest with you people. It can be difficult, especially if you forget the order of operation. So let's make sure I didn't forget the order of operation. We're going to pull his arms back, because both of his arms are going to need to get pulled back eventually. So just pull them back slightly, not all the way. That should give enough room for what's going to happen. And right, before we can move that area, we have to change his appearance down here. So put him on his slight feet, hold him like this. Now in his core, you will find that there's 2 rubber wheels. And this is a very cool part of his transformation that can be difficult. So what you want to do is put your forefinger on the front of his, right across from where his chest grill was. You got those cool gray lines that Optimus Prime had. It's just it's popped up a bit. It's a nice smooth texture, but you want to grab that with your thumb, or your forefinger, and then with your thumb, grab the back of that area, and then it slides out. You pull it out on a hinge, and then you rotate it 180 degrees. And that back panel that I told you to unfold from his back now becomes the headlights for the semi-truck. So you set that there, right there. Now you're going to follow through on the same process with the other side. I love this part. This part was really cool to me, that they hid the wheels so well inside of this guy. And it's smooth too, usually. He's a little rusty, but there we go. Or I'm a little rusty transforming him. So you pull that part out, his lower midsection area. You pull it out to have the wheel. While you're pulling it out, it's easier while you're pulling it out to spin it 180 degrees instead of waiting until you pulled it out completely and then spinning it then. That's, just trust me on that one, that's the easier route to take. Now that both of those guys are pulled out, we can then grab his bumper. We're going to lower these 2 ends for a minute because this bumper is going to come down. So grab the bumper, that part that covers the Let's bring it over just a bit. There we go. That part that covers the matrix of leadership, and we're going to yank it out. So now it gets pulled. There it goes. You have to disconnect it from its connector. And this is a very weird part of the transformation. It's super awkward, and it's the only part that I dislike. So before you bring it down too far, spin that bumper 180 degrees, and then you have to pull both of these flappy bits up and kind of thread it through them. This is the awkward part of the transformation, but once once you've threaded it through, then the bumper will snap into place on the underside of the wheels. You know those two wheels that you just pulled out? Well, they have some ports and pegs that this bumper fits into. So now we can kind of set him down on his front tires, so we can complete the rest of the transformations. So I said there was a bit of an awkwardness to this, and it's the Matrix of Leadership box. This box was got a battery pack in it and stuff, and it's got to sit very, very specifically. It cannot sit any way but the way it's designed to sit, and if you mess it up at any, it's going to cause one of the arms to stick out too far. So you want to run your fingers down on either side of it, and with your fingertips measure and make sure that you have it correct, because there are two bumps in here on top of the wheels that are going to be close to the edge of this matrix box, and you want to make sure the matrix box stays within those two bumps. You don't want it to exceed any side of those bumps, and that will help you out. They're shaped rectangularly. I can't really get the camera in there to show you, but it's on top of the wheel well. Now that you've done all this and he's all opened up and stuff, we can take and fold his rabbit ears down. There you go, Optimus. Fold your rabbit ears down. There we are. And then you want to rotate that entire head assembly all the way around 180 degrees, and then put your fingers in there and push it upwards, because you can put your fingers right in there to push the very tip of it up to snap it into place, and you close the back. And that's how you get that part done. And now we can actually close these two pieces, and we will move over to the side here so that a good view can be seen on what's about to happen here. So on each of the arms, you want to rotate the arm all the way back on its hinge. And, oh, already screwed up. So don't screw this guys up. Don't screw this up, guys. So put the arm in its right angle motion. Make sure it's sitting at a right angle. Then fold it in. Then fold the arm into this area that's visible. And this is where I saw a lot of Earthrise Optimus Prime. Earthrise Optimus Prime totally took this step. And you see, I got something screwed up. That matrix box is just a little too wide. I hate that matrix box. It's a cool thing in robot mode, but for the vehicle mode, it is trash. Alright, open the window for the side that you're plugging your arm into, and put that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and move this matrix box around just a bit to get that right. See, this matrix box is just so infuriating sometimes, and there's a way to fix it, and I'll just showcase that, because I do want to showcase how to transform this thing correctly. And honestly, for me, we're going to pull this arm out a bit so that we can rotate that out, and we're going to fold these bits down. At the same time, we're going to pick this bit up just a bit, pull up, pop the head just a tiny smidge so we can get at this matrix box. I'll make sure that seat inside folds forwards. Okay, cool. Now we've popped that up just enough so I can pop the bumper off those two parts, rotate this up, reach in there, and then you grab the matrix box with two fingers and you pull it out. Alright, now the matrix box, when it is pulled out, now we can fold this back down. This will go over here. That will go down like that. It's honestly, guys, it's the best way I have found to transform this dude, and I can showcase off the matrix. Yeah, it'll work. It'll do double duty. So let's put all this back and make sure it's right. It goes down like that. There we are. That goes into that place, and that goes into that place. So the bumper snaps into the bumper spots, like we talked about before. This arm now folds backwards, and we slide this bit in all the way this time. There we go. And we're going to do the same with this side. So make sure that the arm is set at a 90-degree angle at the elbow. Rotate backwards. Pull back slightly on the hinge to make sure everything fits in there properly, and then push it forwards. And there you have it. Now the close. Oh, wait. Before we close this part, let's get in here and make sure that seat is raised up. That seat is raised up. Now we're going to pop down Optimus Prime's head. There it is. Head's popped down. Close the cockpit windows. There we go. Make sure that the headlights are snapped into place on the sides. Give it that good old squeeze. It's alright. It's die cast in old plastic. You can handle it. Just a slight squeeze. There we are. All that's in together. Pull him around to this side. And we're going to have his back now. So to do his back feet, this is a fun process. You just pull this back of his foot, his heel section. It can be a bit of an issue. But right above the heel, like if you feel in the back of his foot, you'll feel like there's a textured bit that has a section cut out, then a bump, then a section cut out. And it actually has two parts that fin out on either side of this key piece. And this key piece is important, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But first off, you have to pull this bit in the middle of his foot up. It's going to go up 90 degrees, and then the entire foot assembly is going to fold forwards, and you're going to have to rotate his upper foot away from his lower foot. And this is a weird part, but it's a unique part. That's for sure. Let's get it. Come on, rotate that foot. Come on, rotate that upper foot. You can do it. Yeah, you did it. Cool. There we go. Now, we're going to do it the same with this side. So we're going to pull up that middle of his foot on its hinge, set it at 90 degrees, and then we're going to rotate the upper foot, the upper part that has the part that folded up and his toes, and then we're going to fold that entire foot assembly downwards, and we're going to fold the bit that we unfolded. And once we've done that, we can then, and here's a part where, once you snap that into place, you get a nice flat top of a truck. You can come in between his legs, and on his, the way I'm standing, it's my right hand, but it's going to be the left leg for him. You can pull up the little trailer hitch, and you sit that right between them, there it goes, right there. What's wrong here? There's something wrong with this picture. Oh, there it goes. I had snapped those up. All right. Now for these bits, you just want to fold them both up, and I think this part is really cool. So what you get from the toes is you get the backup lights, the white lights to back up, turn signal lights, yellow lights for turn signal, and you get the big white lights for reversing. Sorry, you get the red lights for stopping on the inside, the white lights and the yellow lights. He's got all the correct lights for a vehicle, so that I just love that little attention to detail. And also, these are his feet, so in a way, he can use the white lights and on his feet to light his way from his feet, and that's cool. And these foot parts that actually fold up just slightly, well, they you just set them kind of down, just a little down, and what they kind of look like is they kind of look like those mud flaps for tires, which I think is cool. Or you can fold them up all the way, and then they're just a part of the underside of the vehicle. And then you're left with Optimus Prime, who's a very, very heavy truck. No turning capabilities, so to turn him, you just gotta he's gotta do a 100-point turn. But there he is, in all of his coolness. And you can always just open up his front cabin here and just kind of put that in there like that. That's what I usually do. Honestly, though, this just sits on a shelf. But we could talk about this now that it's pulled out. So this is the Matrix of Leadership, and it's a really neat little dude. It pulls apart. Did it pull apart on the other side? There it goes. It pulls apart, and whenever it's connected to its little box here, it actually can light up, which is really cool. But you can get him in a pose where he can pull these ends apart. And this was, like I said, this was the piece de la resistance of Transformers at the time. This guy blew me away. It blew away a lot of the collectors online that I heard about. One of the reasons I purchased this Transformer is because of all the stuff on the web. I heard about it. It was everywhere. Rumors. I was into alternators at the time, and so I did focus on those. And so I had some alternators, and so I kept it up to the community. And this guy, he didn't really work well with alternators, but he was a decent semi truck for Optimus Prime. And I do regret never getting the pickup truck, but yeah, for his back you can just put this stuff on there. It doesn't really have any parts. I mean, this can kind of fit into his trailer hitch if you'd wanted to do it that way. There, the Matrix is on the trailer hitch. That's his cargo he's carrying. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the show. This has been Blindformers and teaching you how to transform your Master Peice 01 Optimus Prime from his robot mode into his Mack truck mode. Yeah, honk honk. Until next time.